Hi darlings, thank you so much for joining me on the Creative Retreat channel. And today I have a Bible journaling process for you in my new illustrating Bible, the Gospels edition. I will link this Bible below, heads up that is an affiliate link. And I am working on the August Faith Art Box, Worry to Worship. And this was such a beautiful devotional. I think it's really meaningful, especially for the season that I am in. And I'm going to be journaling from this section over here that really spoke to me. So I'll be in Matthew chapter 6, verses 26 to 29. And so I'm going to be using a couple of things from the kit, the physical kit, and some Faithful Digital. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and let's dig in. Okay, so I'm going to start off here in my new Bible. I'm super excited about using it because the words are a lot bigger and I just like starting off in a new Bible. So here I'm taking the time to underline where I want to focus, the verses I want to focus. And like I said, I am journaling in Matthew chapter 6, verses 26 to 29. So I'm going to kind of start off with my Faithful Digitals. I'm going to cut out some of these beautiful roses that are on this page. I had in my mind just to build a small field or a bouquet of flowers in the bottom part of my page. I just want to have that reminder of God and how He dresses the lilies. And this is something, and this is actually a verse that has been on my heart in the past month, along with another verse. And I thought it was meaningful that this came up in the devotional just in time and in the same season. So I'm going to be using two of the Creative Retreat inks. I'm using Mermaid Teal and Rose Corsage. And so I'm going to be using these to do some stamping first. I love mixing stamping with stickers and some of the faith-filled elements. I think it's just going to create a beautiful field and different types of flowers, and hopefully it'll make it look like there's some dimension to the page without adding too much dimension. So I go ahead and I stamp out some of these roses first. Now I am double stamping them because I really want that color to look really saturated. So I take some time to do that. I would like to say that when you're kind of doing a background like this and you know you're going to layer on top of it, you don't really know where to start. So I would just say, go ahead and layer, and then you can kind of add as you go. So I'm going to be using the little leaf portion, and I'm going to be flipping this upside down and sideways to kind of create some leaves that are coming, as I would say, out of the sides of the rose. So I'm using the color Mermaid Teal in order to add that there. And here you'll see me flip it around. I love that Creative Retreat, they usually have stamps that you can kind of maneuver and manipulate. And so this, it only points to one side, but all you have to do is flip it upside down or flip it sideways, and then you can create a different detail there. So you see me do that. So after stamping down the leaves, I'm going to do the stem, and I'm going to actually do the outline portion of that. It does come with both the inside and outline, but I'm just doing the outline because I want it to be a little bit more subtle. So I stamp out two of the stems and the flowers that are kind of peeking upwards. And now I'm going to look into the Faithful Digitals to cut out some of the roses that are there, and then I'll add that to the bottom of my page as well. Again, I love the mixing of the different elements. So some of them are fully colored in, some of them are stamped, and I'm loving the whole feel of that. So I'm gonna use my tape runner to adhere some of those from the Faithful Digital. And now I'm going to start working on my title. I love the alphas that came in the Faithful Digital, so I'm actually going to use some of them to create some of the words for my title. I won't have you watch, but what I do is I fussy cut those letters out and I start building my title. And I'm going to use a mix of these alphas from the Faithful Digitals, some of the cardstock alphas that came with the kit, and some of these that I showed that could be an add-on that you could have picked up. They are from a different kit, but these leafy alphas match so well with this kit as well that I thought it'd be beautiful to add them in. So I love the devotional content, and I love what Jeremy writes about the fact that Jesus spoke to us about not worrying, but the reason he did so was because he knew we would worry. And Jesus knows, he knows that we are going to worry about the things of this world because we're still in this world. And while we're in this flesh, we fall to that sometimes. But he said this sentence that really stuck to me. And it just said, if you want basically a glimpse of God's faithfulness, look around and see that. And this verse really, it really pulls that all together, because Jesus says, if I take care of the sparrows, if I take care of the lilies in the fields, why wouldn't I take care of you? And that's something so beautiful that I think is something that constantly needs to be on my mind. And so what I do is I create this title around that where it says, look around and see his faithfulness. And this is kind of me speaking to myself. When you are worried, Jessica, look around and look at everything that God is taking care of and everything that God is doing, and see glimpses of God's faithfulness in those things. And we can see that in creation. We can see that in maybe in some past ways that God has showed up in our lives. Here I am using a mix of the zigzag pen, which I love to use with smaller alphas, and of course all of those alphas that I told you around. I'm also going to pull one more rose from the Faithful Digitals just to fill up some of that space. And I'm using that zigzag pen again, and I'm going to add that there. I love that it adds more blues to the bottom of that page. I use these cute leaf alphas, and what I do is I cluster them together so the word faithfulness kind of falls in a line. But of course, you can use them sporadically throughout your page as well. And then I pull these quotation marks that are from a past kit that I knew I still had. That way I can add some quotation marks to my title. And I love that the blue matches well as well. I'm gonna add one more rose as well to the bottom. And I'm just filling in little gaps that I may have left over. And now I'm going to actually pull in my circle 1-inch punch that I've shared with you guys so many times. I'm gonna use this to cut out that rose circle and also the tab that I know I'm gonna be using on a journaling card later on. So I cut that out as well. And there is this beautiful washi strip that was part of the Faithful Digitals that I want to add to just bring some blue up to the top of the page, kind of balance out the colors a little bit. So I use my tape runner and put that faux washi right there at the top. Of course, this kit comes with washi as well, but I love the blue that was here. And now I'm going to grab another tab from the cardstock stickers, and I'm just gonna layer it with a couple more green stickers at the top of my page. Then I'll also grab one more rose from the cardstock sticker just to fill out that last space that was kind of empty in the bouquet of flowers towards the bottom. And that really fills it in really well for me. And I add a rose at the top to bring some purple and green to the top. Another way that I love adding color throughout the page is adding these cute wonky hearts that Creative Faith is so famous for. And this just helps me bring color around on the page as well. And that finished off the page, but then I go and I do some journaling off camera on one of the journaling cards. And what I'm gonna create is an extra journaling card with the verse on the front and my journaling on the back. And this is just gonna serve for me to put it somewhere in my home where I can remember the verse and just have this truth in front of me. And what I do is I go ahead and add some adhesive to one of the cards, and then I fold it over, and then so this is going to make the card double-sided. So my journaling is on the back, and then on the other side I have that verse to have as a reminder. And the tab and the rose that I had punched out earlier, I'm going to add to the top of here. And this is where I'm gonna add my date just to remember the season that I was in when I needed this verse and I did this journaling. And lastly, I'm just gonna add my date stamp with that mermaid teal color to my journaling card and also to my entry in my Bible. And that is it, you guys. I really hope that this page inspires you to use all the things on your page and all these pretty colors, but most of all, that you take the time to look around and see God's faithfulness. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Creative Channel. Definitely check out the other ladies and the videos that they will have. Bye.